Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the WNBA on ESPN2 Media Conference Call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode, and shortly we'll have a question and answer session, and instructions will be provided. If you need operator assistance during the call, you can press star and then 0. I'll now turn the meeting over to our host, Ron Howard. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. And thank you to our media for joining us once again. The call is with regard to Sunday telecast on ESPN2. That's Sunday, September 18 at 4 p.m. Eastern. That'll be Dallas Wings at the Indiana Fever. And with us from the Indiana Fever, 10-time WNBA All-Star selection, Tamika Catchings. And we're going to jump right into questions with Tamika. Lori, if you once again remind them of the two instructions.
If you do have a question, please press star then 1 on your phone keypad. And if you are using a speakerphone, please pick up the handset before pressing the numbers. Thank you. And our first question from the line of Howard Megdal with Excel Sports. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tamika. How you doing?
Good. How about you, Howard?
I'm good. Nice to talk to you. Just wondering, I know I've talked a little bit about this in the past, but have you had the chance to sort of think about all the numbers and what they mean in terms of your career, whether it's, wins above replacement, you're like 20% above anyone in the history of this league, and and thought about just sort of what they all mean as a collection, related to your career?
Not really. I think it's tough because there's just been so much going on, and literally I feel like, coming into this year, just all the things that, we wanted to accomplish as a team, and first off, we're just making the playoffs, and now, we're kind of like right there, and so, it just literally has been one thing after another thing after another thing. Since the Olympic break, we jumped right into it, had 10 games left, still have 2 more games left, and tonight and Sunday, so, needless to say, my focus has been a little bit elsewhere and just, preparing for these games.
Excellent. Thanks, and good luck.
Thank you.
And we have a question from Doug Feinberg with the Associated Press. Please go ahead.
Hey, Catch, how are you?
Good. How about you, Dougie?
Great. Hey, has it helped you guys that these games still mean a lot, obviously, as far as playoff positioning, to keep you focused on what's going on the court as opposed to what's going on off the court for you?
Definitely. And, just being prepared, I think the preparation for, not only these games and what they mean, but even going into the playoffs, no matter where we get seated, just making sure that, hey, every single game matters. So, the way the playoffs are kind of seated or the way they're designed for this year is a lot different. Obviously, you all know that. So every game literally does matter, no matter where you're seated. So I just want to make sure that right now, everybody doesn't so much focus on, hey, it's Tamika's last 2 games, but let's focus on what we need to do in winning these last 2 games.
And if I can follow up, just talk for a second, the reading corner you had the other day, getting that thing started. What does it mean to you, again, your legacy off the court as well as on the court, getting that started the other day?
Yeah, there's been so much stuff going on lately, and I must say, like yesterday, that was one of the proudest moments that I've had. You come back from winning a gold medal, you come back into the season, and the way things have been going, the highs and lows, but the kids that came through, it's purposeful. What we do is purposeful. When you talk about leaving a legacy, you talk about, we've all talked about just, you do so many great things on the court, and you have all these records, and there's all these numbers, like Howard talked about, but at the end of the day, like, all of that will be broken. And at some point, somebody else will come in, and somebody else will have a great career, and all that goes away. But when you're able to leave imprints and lasting imprints, handprints, that is amazing. Yesterday, like literally, I almost started crying because these kids that were coming in and all the stuff that they have to face, cancer, and one kid was in the burn unit, and one girl had been in there for 2 months, and one girl was going home today, and just like she was so excited about being there yesterday, and it's moments like that make like this. I don't know, this weekend is already going to be great, but that really just kind of capped it off. started it off for me, and like I'm about to get like emotional. But I mean, it's just that's awesome. It's just awesome.
Thanks, my friend.
And as a reminder, to get into the question queue, you would press star, then 1. And if you are using a speakerphone, you may need to pick up the handset before pressing the numbers. Our next question from Seth Berkman with the New York Times. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tamika.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
Good. Recently speaking with players around the league, in addition to your accomplishments, many lauded your work that you've done with the Players Union. Looking back, what are you most proud of during your time with the union? I think you've been president since about 2004. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but can you reflect a little bit on some of the last decade being in charge of the union and the strides you've made there?
Yeah, I mean, it's I remember in the beginning just being so scared because it's just for me, it was such a daunting task. Like, oh my gosh, I got to represent all of these players. But yeah, I think the thing that I've been most proud of is just the friendships and the relationships that we've built. And it's the thing that we've been able to tackle individually for players and then overall, for the whole league and for all the players. I think it's cool that you can see things happen from behind the scenes, and we can talk about them amongst ourselves with the EC, with the executive committee, and then we can talk to the players just about what are the things that are most important for them, and literally the conversations and being able to go to the drawing board and go back and forth with the league and getting things accomplished. And it's just been great to represent them, and we have such an amazing group of ladies that it's just my job has been easy because they are amazing, and everybody. I think as of late, the thing that I'm most proud of is as of late, with the Black Lives Matter and just kind of how we all stood united and had a uniform front, and that is something that we haven't really had in the past. It's kind of like the EC and pulling teeth and trying to get players engaged, but now I feel like as we leave, the union is in a better place, and the next group that stands up and takes over, like, it's going to be at a place that it hasn't been in before, but it's going to be in a much better position for whoever takes over next.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a question from Nina Nandel with USA Today. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tamika. How are you?
Hi. Great. How about you, Nina?
Good, thank you. I have two questions. First, I was wondering what your reaction to Paul George giving away balcony seats for your fans for your last home game was.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I was wondering what your reaction to Paul George buying up a bunch of seats for your last home game is.
Oh man, super excited, and definitely when it came out, I didn't even know where I was when it first came out, but all of a sudden, like, everybody was texting me and calling and just, talking about it, and I, of course, called him, and, I appreciate it, he's going to be here, and just kind of, of course, when he came in his first game and me being there for him and, getting to know him over the years, like, it's just cool to see his growth and be able to experience, his first Olympics over in Rio. And I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like this. Right now, like, everything that's going on is just so surreal. And knowing that the regular season is coming to an end and all the people that'll be at the game. And, of course, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of people already lined up to get those tickets. And it's just amazing. It's amazing what everybody is doing for me and that they want to do. Is really cool.
Right, and my second question is, you're one of a handful of huge name WNBA players retiring. Have you spoken with Lynn Cash or Penny Taylor about what you guys are going to do after basketball? Are there going to be retired player pickup games or anything like that?
Oh, it's funny because we're all, like, the three of us, and even James. I mean, Swing got married last year. James just got married, and Penny, I think, engaged. They're going to be getting married, and I just got married. So it's kind of like we're all about the same as far as family matters, and family is really important to each one of us. And so I know for talking to literally the four of us, from a family-oriented standpoint, I mean, having kids and having a family. From the job perspective, we never really talked about that. It was just kind of like, how did you know that this was the moment? How did you know that it was time? And it's just kind of like, you just know. And, for all of us to kind of have that same revelation is quite weird, I would say, but, it's just, I've heard it before from, other athletes that have retired. It's just like, you just know.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And we'll go to Max Resitar with Slam Magazine. Please go ahead.
Hey, Tamika, how you doing? Thanks for taking
Good. How about you?
Thank you. I just wanted to know if you could take us back to who or what inspired your love for basketball.
Well, my father played in the NBA for 11 years, so his last year was 84. I was born in 79, and so literally, I just remember wanting to be like him and wanting to follow in his footsteps from 7th grade. But as far as my love for sports in general, that came early, and I was born with a hearing problem and a speech problem early on, so sports was kind of like my outlet where I could go and I could practice and I could get really good at something, and literally people couldn't make fun of me because they wanted me on their team. And so, that was kind of like the way that I was able to fit in. And then gradually my love for basketball came, like I said, in 7th grade when I realized that, hey, like I could get really good and I could follow my dad's footsteps and make it to the NBA.
Thanks so much, Catch.
You're very welcome.
We have a question from Michelle Vogel with ESPN.com. Please go ahead.
Tamika, you were talking a little earlier about when you were talking about being, working with the union about, that the players now that are going to be stepping into these roles are going to have, face different challenges, but they're in a better, stronger position. I wonder if you could expand maybe on what you think the players who are going to move into the leadership positions of the league in the next few years. What do you hope to see them try to accomplish, maybe say over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think that's a big question, Michelle. First off, and just being able to, when we look at the social issues that are going on, and just how strongly, how much stronger our voice has shown. So, I think that for so long, it's just been the executive committee and us and our voices being heard, and not necessarily all of the players behind us and united, and this is what we all want. And so, when I said just having a stronger presence, that's really what I was talking about. Whoever comes in and whoever leads the next executive committee and the next union, and just being able to have a strong voice. And, I think that we'll continue to see social issues that players will want to represent. And then, of course, the CBA will be up, I think, in another, 3 or 4 years. My time is kind of off right now. So, even planning for that, just being able to maybe shoot for more stuff. There's something that you're not going to be able to get, like, okay, salary. Everybody wants a higher salary. Yeah, of course, we all do. But, what does that look like? And so, I think for us, it's always been just about what kind of issues can we deal with that, I think accomplishments that we had, people getting their own rooms and the core, what we were able to do with the core, and even with that, people want to eventually get that number lower as well. So there's a lot of other things that, if you look at the CBA, that I know the next time around players will try to, our executive committee will try to battle with and try to get more opportunity for the players.
If I could follow up on a little bit with that, Tamika, obviously you spent your whole career with Indiana, which, in the old days of men's sports, we saw more often. Even before your time, some of that was, obviously in baseball because of the reserve clause, so they didn't have the opportunity for free agency. I'm wondering if you think that free agency, when it becomes more realistic, honestly, in the WNBA, where you see bigger stars moving around more, do you think that will be a good thing for the league whenever that comes? Because I think that probably is an eventuality. Or do you like the idea that in the WNBA there is more, strong relation between stars such as, yourself or Diane at Phoenix or Sue at Seattle? What do you think about the pluses and the minuses of something like that?
Yeah, I go back and forth because, of course, I think, and one of the, reasoning is you want your team to be associated with a player or players that, the fans are drawn to, and kind of like that franchise player, that, okay, every single year, this player is going to be here, that when you're selling tickets that you're not in any jeopardy of losing them. So I get that from one standpoint. But then I think the issue becomes for, some players is sometimes in an organization, and this is just me talking, and not from experience, but sometimes in an organization, people take for granted that that player is always going to be there. So they stop, doing the thing that they could possibly do. To make them feel appreciated, and I think sometimes that's where you get players that state, well, I want to go play somewhere else, and so having that free agency maybe would entail some teams to step up to the plate and do more for their franchise players or the players that they've gotten called. But I do think that it's attractive to have players moving around because it kind of creates a little bit of buzz and a little bit of excitement, just kind of like what you see with the NBA with players moving around. Some of it's good, some of it's not, but I think that just being able to have the opportunity and from a player standpoint, being able to have some type of control over your own future rather than, okay, you're stuck here for, X amount of years and then, even when you're done with your rookie contract, then you're still restricted, and then after you're restricted, then you can still get caught after that. So it's kind of like, okay, after year 10, you can move. And some players don't want that because you don't know how long you're going to be able to play.
Thank you. And we have a question from Dana Benbow with Indianapolis Star. Please go ahead.
Hey, Tamika.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, I had a question. I've been talking to lots of people about you, and they say you are the superstar who never knew you were a superstar. What are your reactions to that?
I would agree. Sometimes it's funny because I go out and I'm just out and, doing different things. I'm over there and, just the reaction that you get from people, I'm just like, oh, hey. And I don't realize, I just don't realize, I guess, that I'm quote-unquote a superstar, whatever that means. But, I think it just makes for a funner life when I don't feel like that. I feel like I can go and do whatever I want to do. And, it allows me to make more friends, I guess.
And your quintuple doubles, I've never heard you talk about that. Do you remember how you felt after that, or did you even realize you were doing it when you were doing it?
I didn't even realize I was doing it when I was doing it. Just going out and playing, and you guys know how I play. I just play with a lot of passion, and I go hard. And imagine me as a younger me, and just what my body would allow me to do. And so, literally just going out and playing. And I remember, after the game, and people are like, oh my God, you got it. I'm like, what is that? You got this? I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right. Next game, it's kind of like, all right, on to the next. But I guess I didn't realize, and even now to this day, even talking about it, I just didn't realize that it was that special.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And our next question is going to be from Phil Thompson with Chicago Tribune. One moment, please. We're going to open his line. One moment. Thank you. And Mr. Thompson, please go ahead.
Hey. Hello, Tamika.
Hey, Phil. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I want to ask, with you being a former Deerfield resident and having played many games against the Sky, what is the Chicago moment that stands out for you?
Oh, wow. Literally for me, every time I come to Chicago, I get to see some of my old teammates, a lot of the people that supported me when I was growing up, and, just kind of being in that environment. I think last year after we played in Chicago, I actually stayed over for a few days. Lewis-Parry had a camp out there, and a leadership camp, so I stayed over for a few days and got to go back to Stevenson, and, even went and visited my old junior high school back at Aptekissick, and it was cool. It's cool to go back and be able to kind of go back to your stomping ground, and then, all the people that have supported me, like I said, through those days, being able to come to the Sky games and remember me as a little girl, and now, as a grown-up. So that's always cool.
If I could follow up, of your records, which one means the most to you and why?
The championship. Winning a championship, if I can count that as my record. You know, just because it came so late, and especially after 2009, you know, going all the way to Game 5 in Phoenix and not winning that, and kind of hoping like 2010 would be our year. And then, of course, we had to wait a few more years even after that to get it. But just, I think, the adversity that we faced that year, and just how we were able to pull our team together and accomplish something that not many teams in this league have accomplished in winning a championship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next question from Dan Fleeser with Knoxville News Sentinel. Your line is open.
Hey, Catch.
Hey, Dan. How are you?
Good. Has there been a moment or moments during this season that have stood out to you? Is there anything that's caught, you know, that's left an impression on you? Something somebody did or said to you this season?
Honestly, the Legacy Tour. You know, being able to do that and to share moments with fans from other teams, that had been really cool. Because normally we come to a city, we play, and then we leave the next day. And so we don't really, you know, might sign a couple autographs on the way in or the way out, but nothing really serious. But, you know, really being able to kind of spend time with the other fans through the Legacy Tour, like it's just, it's been cool to hear them talk about, you know, even though this is my team that I support, you're one of my favorite players, and you're one of my favorite players because of your class, because of the way you play, because of your passion, you know, and even more so because of what you do off the court with your foundation and always giving back, and, you know, there's just, like, the list kept going on, and, you know, I get a lot of that here, and I get a lot of that back in Tennessee, you know, from the places that I live. But to hear it consistently in every single WNBA market, it was cool. You know, it's like, man, I've really been blessed to have had the opportunity to play. But I think one thing that some players, a lot of players, don't get through their career is it's not necessarily all about you. It's about being able to use the platform that you have to give back to others, and that's what I've been able to do. And you know, so it's cool to hear a lot of the fans talk about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dan.
Our next question from the line of Sue Favor with Women's Hoops World. Please go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Tamika.
Hey, Sue, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, real quick, I know you've been doing three things at once, doing your Legacy Tour and doing your last season, and now the Legacy Tour is over. Has now that things have slowed down a little bit, is everything caught up to you a little bit? And that's the first part of the question. And then the second part is, what kind of support are you going to be looking for for this weekend? Because I know it's probably going to be a little bit emotional, to say the least.
Yeah, so things have not slowed down. The last Legacy Tour was, Tuesday night at Connecticut, and then we got back Wednesday, and then we did the opening launch for the reading corner yesterday.
Okay.
And today is Friday. Woo! So all my family is coming in for the most part today.
Wow.
At some point, and some before the game, some during the game, some after the game, some tomorrow. So this weekend is going to be a little bit hectic, but I can't imagine not spending this weekend with them and not having them here. So I'm super excited that they're going to be able to make it, and coming from, you know, all over. My grandma's coming, so I'm really excited about having her here to share this moment with me too.
That's amazing. I don't know what they have planned for you Sunday, but it should be great stuff. So, all right, we'll have a great weekend, and best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you. And what I didn't talk about, and yesterday, some of the Pacers players actually came over, and they put together some money and donated $50,000 to the foundation. So, awesome. Yeah, really awesome. And they didn't necessarily say which players, but I just was like, man, like, so cool. I'll probably post a picture of some of the guys that we took a picture with, but Nate and some of the guys. So really, really cool.
That is so cool. They really respect you and love you. That is an outstanding statement. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for sharing that. That's beautiful. Okay. Hey, thanks a lot. Many blessings. Take care.
You too.
And we have a question from Doug Ammon with WNBA.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tamika. you're 3 rebounds away from passing Lisa Leslie for the most all time. I'm just curious what it would mean to pass the legend in her own right, like Lisa, and if you've even given any thought to that with everything else that's going on this weekend.
Haven't really given any thought to it, but they were talking about it yesterday, so I was joking around, like, okay, tonight is the night. I'm going to get 3 rebounds tonight, and then I'm done. I'm sitting on the bench for the rest of the game. I'm just playing. But, it's kind of funny. But, definitely, I mean, Lisa, Dawn, and Cheryl, I always put the 3 of them as far as, people that I looked up to, and watching that 96 Olympic team and watching just what they were able to accomplish with the other ladies, they were the reason that I dreamed even about wanting to be an Olympian. And so, thinking about passing Lisa, I mean, like I said earlier, records are meant to be broken. So I'll break it, and then, somebody else will come behind and break it, and the list will go on and on and on. But, I think it's really cool that when I look at just the ending of my career and the beginning of the, people that I looked up to, and now the end of, potentially passing one of my heroes or sheroes, it's cool. It really is cool. And I know Lisa will appreciate that it's me.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we have a question from Michelle Vogel with ESPN.com. Please go ahead.
Tamika, this won't be one of those big, broad questions I asked earlier, but specifically about this team, I know you don't know quite yet who you'll play in the playoffs, in the playoff game, but based on what you know of this team so far, what is the biggest thing you guys need to do to go on a postseason run? What are you most looking for you guys to be able to execute?
Just to be consistent. Have a sense of urgency for 40 minutes and not 10 minutes or 15 minutes and, here and there. But definitely, we don't have a in-between. We're either really good or we're really bad. And so, I would love for us to consistently be really good. And, if anything else, we've always been known as a great defensive team. And so that's the thing that, through our inconsistency, has lacked the most. Our defensive intensity and what we've been known for. So hopefully for these next 2 days, next 2 games, starting with tonight, that'll be the main focus, is being more consistent from a defensive end and letting our offense flow off of our defense.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Michelle.
And we have a question from Seth Berkman with New York Times. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tamika. With the playoffs now on the horizon, I'm sure you've been asked this throughout the season, but now as they're literally starting next week, just want to gather your thoughts on the one-and-done format. Are there positives, are there negatives that you see from it?
Well, I mean, initially when we first were told about it and asked to kind of take it back to the players, initially it was a strong negative remark about it. But, and moving forward and moving beyond that, I think it's going to have positive and negative. What they're going to be, I don't really know right now, and it'll come after. But I think, definitely when you look at just initial negative, if you're the top seed and you have a bad game and you lose, before it's like, okay, you had 3 games. So, looking at our team, literally, I think every year we've lost the first game and then have come back, in some of the series and have won the last 2 games. And that's how, last year for sure, making it all the way to the finals, we always lost the first game and then, we were able to win and keep our season alive. But now you don't have that luxury. So really, I think what they're going for is just more competitive games, where now you have one game where you have to give everything that you possibly can in the first 2 rounds, and then, you go into the normal playoff format that we've had in the past. I just think, you have to be ready. Like, the positives is one team's going to win, and, the negative is if you're the better team and you have a bad game, that one game, you'll be going home.
Okay, thank you. And we'll close Seth Berkman's line. Thank you. And Mr. Howard, back to you for any closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Tamika, thank you so much for all your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And again, to our media, thank you for joining us. And if you'll stay with us momentarily, we will be joined by the Dallas Wings' Skylar Diggins.
Gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and you're joining the WNBA on ESPN2 Media Conference Call. At this time, we have everyone muted. If you do want to queue up for a question, you would press star then 1 on your phone keypad. If you need operator assistance, you may press star then 0. I'll now turn the meeting over to our host, Ron Howard. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Lloyd. And once again, to our media, thank you for staying with us. And joining us now from the Dallas Wings, Skylar Diggins. Thanks, Skylar, for your time. And Larry, we'll turn it over right to question and answer. We'll begin right away.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you do have questions, you would press star then 1 on your phone keypad. And we have Sam Hoffman in the queue. Please go ahead, please.
Hi, Skylar. You went to high school and college in Indiana, so what will it mean to you to playing against Tamika in her final regular season game?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, every time I get to play in Indiana again, it's exciting. I always see a lot of familiar faces, see a lot of fans, especially with now the addition of Natalie Chamwa and Devereaux Peters. You know, it's a lot of Notre Dame familiar faces I'm sure we'll see per usual. Along with the, you know, Indiana crowd. You know, they had one of the best crowds. I've always had one of the best crowds since I used to go to the games when I was younger. And I mean, obviously, it's no secret it's a special night. You know, for Catch and you know just everything that comes with Catch, just being a trailblazer and a real advocate for women in sports. And just what she's done for the game of basketball in the WNBA. So I'm sure it's going to be a big night for her. Obviously, as a professional, my job is to compete. My team's job is to compete. But we understand that, you know, that night we're honoring somebody that is you know, I would say equivalent to you know, Kobe Bryant retiring in the men's game, in our game. Just what she's done. Just, you know, you never heard anything bad about her, about Catch. Everyone talks so good about Catch, and it's just well-deserved, everything that comes to her, just from everything that she's done with her foundations and the kids. The mentoring, you know, athletes in the game, and you know, I'm sure that any Indiana crowd is going to be crazy. You know, we're looking forward to a competitive game.
Thanks, Skylar.
And we have a question from Michelle Vogel, ESPN.com. Your line is open.
Skylar, I wonder if you could maybe reflect a little on this season, both for yourself personally and, you know, coming back from the injury, becoming, you know, more confident on it. And then also, you know, this is still a very young Dallas team. If you could maybe put into perspective what you guys have learned about yourselves and then going forward into next season.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Michelle. I think that with the first part of that question, I think the further I get away from my injury, you know, the less I think about it, the more it's out of my mind, the better I feel. I think that all comes with time, and that's just something that, you know, as athletes, I don't feel like, you know, speaking personally for me, I don't have a ton of patience. You know, obviously wanting to be back on that floor, you know, coming back on that floor, just doing everything I can to return. But yeah, it's no secret. You know, this has been kind of a up and down season for my team and I, and you know, I don't think that I feel like we underachieved for ourselves as far as not being in the playoffs, and that's something that, you know, was in our total control. But like you said, we're a young team. We have a lot of potential. I think we have a lot of pieces. Next year, you know, it's just obviously controlling the controllables with us, and injuries is something that you can't control as far as their anomaly when that happens. So, you know, we had 13 games where we had a full roster this year, and next year, you know, we're looking to be able to hopefully have everybody available for more games than that, and just continue to build our chemistry. And you know, for us, just finishing strong now. I think, like I said earlier, just being a professional in the last 2 games, understanding, you know, we need to compete, we need to get after it, and we need to use the time we have together to try to get better. And you know, it's no short-term goals on this team. You know, we think long-term. So we can't worry about, you know, having that old by our name this year, but it's about the future and building. And I'm trying to keep that foundation for us, and what is our identity going to be as far as me personally, just finally, starting to feel better, feeling familiar, and that's just something that comes with the injury. You see a lot of people return from ACOs, and y'all you see a lot of people return from ACOs, and you just need time. So I would say I'm feeling better and better every day.
If I could follow up, we were talking earlier with Tamika about, one of her things that's been very important in her career is work with the Players Union and talking about what she is hoping for the younger generation as they move forward. And you're part of that generation. You guys are going to be taking up the torch, if you will, in terms of moving forward in the next, collective bargaining agreement. I'm just wondering, how important do you think your younger generation of players, what are going to be the priorities as far as you are thinking about what you guys are going to try to accomplish over the next 5 years in moving the league forward?
I don't know. Never had to be in that position before, but I think for us, it's just continue to make sure our product is good on the floor. I think that this younger generation with, Elena and Brittany, and, I like to put myself in there, the way that we interact with the fans and communicate, market ourselves in the game and the league. That goes everywhere with us. We'll carry that around with us no matter where we go for any marketing thing, but it has to do with basketball or not. It's just continuing to draw fans to our game. Hopefully continue to get that coverage and have those relationships with the media, mainstream media. Just being, staples in the sport. Obviously it's tough acts to follow that are leaving and retiring, Catch being one of the main ones. But I think it's just continue to just be ourselves, to play this game and respect the game, love the game, and continue to try to grow it through our fans and, media relationships and, just do our part. I mean, I don't know if I have a list of anything specific that needs to be done. I think it's just us really, putting back into our league and reaching back to the youth, which is what a lot of us do. But speaking personally, that's a passion of mine when they talk about doing my part, reaching back to the youth and continue to, inspire and encourage and motivate the young people to play our game and both nationally and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, if you have additional questions, you may press star then 1. And our next question from Doug Ammon with WNBA.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, Skylar. Just curious on your thoughts about Ariel Powers' rookie year and how she's matured throughout the year and she's gotten better.
Hey, how's it going? I think you said it. I mean, I think that Ariel coming in, she's going to understand. She understood right away, especially, me being out and, that she had to contribute right away. And that's something that she's done. And I think you can see her confidence. Obviously, it's a little learning curve. And I think that she's, over that. She can see, where her spots are on the team and that, we needed her to come in and contribute right away. And that's something I feel like she's done. She's continuing to be a sponge and learn and listen. I mean, she's blessed with natural athleticism, being able to run and jump, and it's something that is what we need. And I look forward to playing on her for many years and just her continuing to grow. And she's a great kid. She shows up every day and she puts the work in, and that's something that's half the battle. So I just think she's been great for us this year, and it's just a glimpse of what she's capable of doing. So I'm excited about that, being her teammate.
Great, thanks so much.
And if there are any additional questions, please press star then 1. We have no additional questions at this time, so please continue.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Skylar, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
And to our media, thank you for joining us. Once again, a reminder, the telecast is ESPN2, Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Dallas and Indiana. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our teleconference. We thank you for using AT&T Executive Teleconference Service, and you may disconnect.